Hello and welcome, I am Gary and Reaver and this is another Arknights tier list, this time guards as it was requested by this person here. Thank you very much for the request. I have already done one on snipers and defenders, both of those will be linked in the description, and just to be perfectly clear, this is not a meta tier list. This is based on my own personal opinions, such as what I think of their design, what I think of their story, and maybe, just maybe, how I think they play. This is not a meta tier list, I just want to make that absolutely clear. Guards are the single biggest class with 72 of them, but before we get started I will just explain the tiers. C is the neutral. C is the I don't feel particularly strongly one way or another, or it balances out to just, yeah, fine. B and D are if I like or dislike them. A and E are really like, really dislike, and S are my favourites of the class. So as there are so many to get through, let's kick off with Astasia. I haven't used her. I think she's an arts guard. I prefer her sister Asgen in sort of design and stuff, so I'm just going to put her at C because I don't really know her that well. Helliger, I'm not a fan of. I don't know what it is, just something about him, just sort of, I don't really like his design. I don't really like how he's sort of portrayed in memes and stuff, so I'll just leave him there. I don't hate him or anything, I just, yeah. Flamebringer, sort of the same. It's just something about his design I don't like. He seems a bit too, like, trying too hard to be edgy. Melantha, I'm going to put up a B because I sometimes find her useful. Like, she does have really, really high attack, and it can be good for, especially like IS, where I can just like drop her in. I'm sort of looking forward to her getting an altar. That'll be fun. Brocker, again, I just don't like his design. Like, it's a bit of a theme that I'm not a fan of the male character designs in Arknights. They just don't do anything for me, really. Blaze, I'm going to put up at A. She's really useful. I use her a lot. Story-wise, I think she's like an old school Rhodes Island person, but I don't really know her story. I've not looked into it that much. And while I'm not usually a fan of, like, joke character designs and stuff, I sort of rather like her rainbow chainsaw rocker look. Utage, I can't remember if that's the correct way to pronounce that. Utage. I'm going to put her at neutral. She's a very odd one. I'm fascinated by her race, because I believe it's one of the few that isn't actually confirmed, because she's got like cat ears and a snake tail, and is old school friends with Kirara, which is just, it's just an interesting little thing. Bybeak, I'm going to put up a B. I don't use her because if I'm going to use like a dual strike, it'll be Chen most likely. But I really like one of her outfits, and yeah, she's pretty. Conviction's an interesting one. I'm going to go with B. I really don't think they're viable at all because of the complete randomness. I mean, they are an April Fool's joke character, but I don't know. There's just something I like about them. Cutter, I'm going to put also at B, but like a lower B. Another one that I just haven't used. I'm fairly sure she's also a sort of a dual strike type. Or Swordmaster, I guess, is the actual term. I don't know. I take issue with a lot of Arknights archetype terms. They just seem needlessly convoluted for my liking, but I kind of like this sort of always ears down look. It marks her out as different. Aescarp. I am rather a fan of Cortuses in general, so I'm going to put him at C, because even though I've never used him, he's a Cortus, and that just makes me like him slightly more. Thorns is going to go up at A. He's almost tipping the line into S, because he is one of my favourite guards in mechanical use. I use him quite a lot. Of course, he's very powerful. I used to do whole IS runs based around him before Wizardell came out, and she became the sort of really powerful one to base a whole team around. Flint, I used to sort of not like. I don't particularly like how she was portrayed in her original event, the one with Eunectus, I believe it was. But I really, really began to like her when her outfit was released, and it's like just flowers, and it seems so unlike the Flint that was presented before that it just sort of opened my eyes to just a different side of her, and it was just really nice. I'm going to put her up a B. Arene, I think his name is. He's one of my least favourite Sancta. I just find him a bit weird and spindly, I guess, is the only way to put it. Oh, there are a couple in this that aren't actually in Global. I didn't think there were when I first glanced over it, but I've just noticed a couple, so I will not be rating those as they are not in Global currently. Surta. Surta is a bit of a fan favourite, and although she is useful, you know, Twilight is a very powerful skill, I've just never been that enamoured with her. It's just something about her design hasn't quite clicked for me, and yeah, she's alright, but I don't love her. I will use her a fair bit though. Whislash. She is probably up there among my favourite of the Knurl family. I'll also do Radiant. Ooh, yeah, she gets tipped over into A. I was a bit on the fence about that, because like original Knurl I found a bit boring, but the Radiant Knurl is very much like, I really like her style. She seems like she's sort of... do you get what I mean if I say she feels like she's awake as Radiant? And Whislash, she's got a nice sort of style to her as well. I think she's Knurl's aunt? I think? And like her outfit with like the purple is just really pretty. Jackie I've not used. I'm not really a fan of brawler types. Like Flint is only up there because of the seeing the other side. Whereas Jackie and who was the other one? Bee Hunter is the other one that sort of comes to mind. They're just sort of neutral. Bee Hunter has a bit more sort of design that I like. You know, the honey obsessed bear is just is stereotypical, but is still cute. And Arts Armia, I have not unlocked yet, and that feels really, really bad to admit. But yeah, I haven't done whichever story mission I need to actually do that, because I don't play the story that much. I tend to stick to events and the sort of ongoing roguelike modes and stuff. So yeah, sorry Armia. Mountain. Oh, he's a brawler, isn't he? I'm gonna put him up at B because I don't really no, I'm putting him in C. I don't really like him. I don't really like his design. That doesn't really work for me. I don't think any of his outfits are particularly good. I know he is powerful and I've used him effectively, but it balances out. This is one where I don't really like him, but he's decent, so I'm going to leave him in C. And just to reiterate one more time, this is not a meta tier list. I'm not saying he's a C meta-wise. I'm neutral on him personally. Tachanka. He is a Siege one that I was never a massive fan of in Siege. I'd occasionally play him just for a bit, just turret mode basically, but yeah, he's just so-so in this. Akafuyu. I'm also not a fan of the Enmity Guard archetype, which is what Helga is as well. I also find her base design a bit weird. I kind of like her, the outfit they released, but the base design is just really crab heavy, and it just seems a bit on the nose, I think. Palace, I'm also going to put there mostly because of the flower. Like, in concept, I like her. I kind of like Forte in general, but the flower on the head is just really weird. Tequila, I'm neutral on. I think he's a bit of a fun design, and I think there's a bit of depth to his backstory that I've just not had the interest to search into, but I know it is there. So I guess that sort of evens out, I guess. I guess. Robot, why bother? La Pluma. She elevates herself, although to me, in design, she is basically Plume. I think they look incredibly similar, that they could be sisters. I'm fairly sure they're not, but I'm almost all but certain that they're not. But the giant scythe is an aesthetic that works for me. Irene, I've not used her, and I don't love her design, but I'm just neutral on her. Gavial. The Indomitable, the something, I don't know. I haven't trained her up or anything, but I think it's a really good look on her, frankly. I am not certain how to pronounce his name. Milnar, I guess, would be how I assume, but I think there's like a slash through one of the letters. He is another one who I know is very powerful, who I just haven't used much. I don't think he really meshes into my playstyle. I don't like the ones like the casters. The Modal casters, whatever they're called now. The ones that don't attack until you activate their skill. I just don't like those in general. I don't like the way they play. So I'm just going to put him at... No, I'm going to put him at D. Just because that just doesn't mesh with my playstyle personally. Here's another one that I'm almost certainly going to pronounce wrong. Luo Zhaohai? He's adorable. I don't think he's very good, but I've not really used him. He's just sort of cutesy, I guess, to me. Highmore. I absolutely love Highmore's design. It is because like I only recently learned that she's based on coral, and like she's another one with a big scythe. The IS that she is from is my favorite, basically my favorite mode in Arknights. I played so much of that one, especially compared to the other IS modes that there are. So I'm going to put her up at A. Like, I don't like the operators that are just like specific to a mode, which she is. I don't like that as a concept, but not specific to a mode as in she can only be played, but specific in that she gets specific bonuses in that mode only, or she gets ones, you know what I mean. But I absolutely love her design. Like, some of the art for her is just breathtaking. Dagda. Weird name. I don't think I have her, and in general, I'm not a massive fan of, what's it called? Is it Glasgow? Or Dublin? I think it's Glasgow. Like, Siege's gang. And on that note, Indra. She gets elevated because I do like her design, and she's sort of mythical in her rarity. Quartz, there is something in her design that rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's the eye patch. I think her head looks a bit, like the hair looks a bit boxy. I don't know, she just does nothing for me at all. Here's another one that I'm not sure how to pronounce. Chongwei. I actually rather like his design, but I think I have him, but I've not used him. I guess I'll slightly elevate for the design, but that's about it. Wind Chimes is an interesting one. I really like her design. Like, I absolutely love, like, the turquoise braid threaded with the black braid. I just think that's a very striking look. I think her chibi in the base is adorable. And I think she isn't terrible. Like, because she's one that has no defense, or no... I'm fairly sure she has just no defense. She's got, like, high health and has skills to do with, like, Sanctuary. But I think that's an interesting twist. I'm going to elevate her for the design for the most part. Quibe, I'm not sure if I have her. I'm going to put her at C, just because I don't actually know if I have her at all. I definitely haven't used her, and the only reason I sort of am really aware of her at all is because I think one of her outfits is pretty. Noir. Was it Rathalos S Noir Corn? I cannot stand his design. It looks so overdone, and I don't know if it's like ripped straight from Monster Hunter or anything, so maybe this is sacrilege to Monster Hunter fans, but I hate his design. Hummus is a weird name for a guy. I mean, there are some really weird names, don't even get me started on Passenger, but yeah, he's another one that I like. The giant scythe doesn't offset the rest of it, really. This one I forgot existed. Morgan, I believe her name is. I don't love the design. Yeah, I also forgot she existed entirely. Executor Alter, whose name I cannot remember. I think he's actually decent. I used him because I think he's in one of the IS. He's in one of the ISs as like a pre-made squad or something, or one of the challenge modes. And I used him in that, and he was decent, but I don't actually know his story. I did a Dr. Gary's file on the normal executor, but I don't know where he comes into it. Doberman is one of the classic ones. She's like introduced very, very early in the story. I was never particularly keen on her. I'm not a fan of like her character type, like her character archetype, not like her game archetype, but her character. Bryofighter, he's got a really interesting style. Like, the colours used for him are, like, they make him stand out. I have no earthly idea how he plays. Like, he's an instructor, but I don't know anything else. I guess it all evens out at C. Matoimaru. To me, she looks almost like the evolved version of Estelle. I mean, while we're on it, Estelle, I love her. She's adorable and tragic, and carried me through a lot of early stuff before I got like Blaze, who basically supplanted her. But she's really, really adorable, and she's one of the reasons why I wish E2 art E2 chibis reflected the E2 art, because she goes from like a jacket and trousers to just like a white dress in her E2 art, and I really wish that was represented in chibi form because it would be adorable. But Matoimaru with the sort of the spikier horns looks like the evolved version to me, and it just doesn't work for me. Sorry, I prefer Estelle. I know they're completely unconnected, but I prefer Estelle. I can never remember how this guy's name is pronounced. Hodora? Every time I see his name, I read it as Hodor. Sorry. No. I mean, he's fine. Like, he's related to W, and that's fun, but yeah. I think Inez is more interesting as a character. Okay, yeah, no, I forgot this guy was a character as well. Lessing, I believe. Viviana, the Candle Knight. Such a cool concept. Like, I didn't get her, and I've rolled like more than I probably should have every time I've been able to have a chance at her, but I still don't have her. And I love her design. If I had to pick like one of the top 10 designs in the entirety of Arknights, the Candle Knight is almost certainly on that list. So she has to be in the S tier. Leto. There is... I'm not really a fan of Ursa's characters, like Zima, Estina, like Rosa elevates herself slightly because of her design. I don't know what it is, but I really, really like Leto's design. So I haven't used her, but I've sort of begun to level her up, just because I really like her design. I think she's one of the ones from the school, like a lot of the Ursus ones are. Which, by the way, if you've never looked it up, is one of the most bloody tragic stories in the entirety of Arknights. It shocks me every time I read it. Dagenbrecher. If you have not seen my, I did a like top operators of 2024 video. Spoiler alert, she appeared in that because she is fantastic, and I really, really like using her. So definitely an S tier for that. You should go check out that video. I will link it in the description as well. Frostleaf. I kinda like her design, but she's let down in two massive ways. One, she's not very good. That's probably a bigger one. The second one, though, she got an outfit which I was excited for, but the outfit is basically just a colour swap of her normal outfit. It doesn't significantly change her appearance, which, to be honest, is a complaint I have for Nerl as well. She got like a L2D outfit, and to me it just looks like her normal armor, just slightly different. So I think that was a disappointing thing, but I felt it more with Frostleaf enough for me to actually drop her down to D, even though I like her. Zoli, I think, is his name, and he is, I think, very good. Like, I've seen guides where he can basically solo bosses and stuff, and that's impressive, and I leveled him up because of that, but I know absolutely nothing about him, so I'm going to stick him in C. Fuse. I cannot remember Fuse's thing. Is his the sticky through the wall grenades thing? I honestly can't remember. I think it is. I'm just completely neutral on him, but it's really bugging me that I can't remember what it is. Doc, another Rainbow Six operator. One that I was sort of neutral on. I'd occasionally play him back in Rainbow Six, but there is one big thing that affects his placement in this tier list, and it's that he completely ruined Croissant, because he is, I believe, a French character, and I can only call it a throwaway joke that they put in something to do with him, where he talks about how Croissant's name is pronounced, and they pronounce it weirdly because it's not French, and I don't remember the details of it because I blotted it out of my memory. I really, really disliked it, but it's ruined him for me, and then I will never see him the same again. Call it petty, I don't care. Odder. He's a bit odd. Yeah, I got nothing. Just neutral. Moose. She was the first character I ever did a Dr. Garen's file on. And it was because I read her story and it's like, I kind of want to tell this story in video form, so I did. So you can check that out, and she's at a B. This guy. He has a really cool design, but he also has an incredibly unfortunate name. He's named after a saint. I know that, but it's like, yeah, I have to assume it's pronounced Ulpianus and not Ulpianus. But it's, yeah, it balances out. I sort of struggle to take him a bit seriously. Frankly, the same with this one. Like, she's one of Nami's ones, so I'm sort of predisposed towards her. But Pepe, and I know it's like, it's from her longer name, but I just think of the frog, and I don't particularly like the frog, and I'm really sorry, Pepe, but it sort of ruins you for me. Like, you're really cute, and a lot of the art has been very cute, but it's just such a silly name. These two are not in global, so I'm ignoring them. Franca I don't particularly like. She's not anywhere near as interesting to me as like Liskarm is, and those two are like frequently paired, so she's basically always overshadowed. And the only thing that makes me have sort of any good feelings towards her other than nothing, is that the outfit that has basically not long been out is pretty damn good. Lapland is way up there for me. Not way up there, but she's up there because she carried my team for a long time as the range guard. Her silence ability is still useful. I still use it. Screw it, I'm going to jump her up to an A. Although I don't love her character, she did prove incredibly useful to me for a very long time. Spectre. I prefer her altar, mostly for design, but she does have one of the prettiest outfits. And I think the reason I don't use Spectre more is because I also don't like skills that cause you to either get stunned or retreated. I can't remember what hers does, but it does one of them or other. And like Armia has some as well, but I know that like hers are really, really worth it. Like not Guard Armia, but like Caster Armia. I kinda like her story, so I will put her up at B anyway. Silverash. Oh, Silverash, where do I start with you? He is one of my least favourite characters in the entire game. I absolutely hate the guy, because he constantly mistreats Pramanix, his sister, and basically forced her to live as a living saint for the religion that his family controls, so he can basically control a country. And although he has a slightly redeemable thing in that he really, really, really loves his other sister Cliffheart, it's still... Oh god, the way he mistreats Pramanix is awful. I also don't really like his design, but on the other hand, he's very, very powerful, and maybe not very, very powerful, he might have been sort of power creeped out of it a bit now, but I do still use him quite a bit, but Alright, the fact that I use him quite a bit brings him out of E, but he's on bloody thin ice. Savage is an interesting one. I really should read her story because she must be so central to Arknights given that she is the anniversary gift. Like, every anniversary we get one potential for her, and I don't know why. I just know that she is a core original member of Rhodes Island. I don't even know that, I think. But I really should read her story. Also, she's a Cortus and, like I said, predisposed. Midnight, I think he tries to be hard to be edgy. I think he's like a vampire in the same way as Warfarron and Closure are, but yeah, trying a bit hard, I think. Skadi, another one that I've done a Dr. Garen's file on. Check that out, linked in the description. I'll link you a lot in the description of this one. I love her. She's got a great design, she has a really cool story, she's got an interesting altar, and basically all of her outfits are pretty good too. Popikar. She's okay. I'm gonna drop her down to a D. Like, she's okay, but I don't know. I don't get the eye patch. I don't know if it's ever been explained. I'm fairly sure I've read her lore and it just doesn't come up. I mean, it could just be that they don't feel the need to explain it, but she's like a child with an eye patch. I feel that needs explaining, and if I've missed it, then evidently it wasn't interesting enough to stick in my head. Sorry. Swire. There's something with her that it doesn't sit right. I don't know what it is, like, I feel like I should like her more because she's got a really cool design and she's like a tiger and she's got history with Chen and that's fun. But I don't know, I have never used her and something about her rubs me the wrong way. Chen, however, I really like. She's got a cool design. She is useful, especially in like sand algorithm. And although I think she got power creeped out by like high defense enemies, but she's still, I don't know, I still sometimes use her for like boss demolishing. So you'll notice I did leave one till last, who came up very, very early and I just sort of ignored. Sidoroka. That is because she is probably my third favourite operator in the entire game. I like her design, I like her story, I like her design. In a previous one, I mistakenly called Cold Shot a Forte because I thought she looked like Sidoroka, but she's actually a like what's it, an Elafi, the reindeer type, rather than Forte, which is like a Minotaur. Basically, what I'm saying is Sidoroka is another one who deserves a tier of her own. So Sidoroka is my absolute favourite guard, and that is my guards tier list. So let me know what you think. Remember, these are my personal opinions, so please don't tell me I'm wrong, but I would love to hear your personal opinions. Where would you put them? Do you have anyone who is a top tier of their own like I have Sidoroka? And if there are any I've put low, I'd love to hear the reasons why you think they should be higher, or ones that I put high that you think should be lower. But just last time I'm going to say this is not a meta tier list, and although occasionally my use of them has come into this, it is one of many factors. Sorry, the reason I'm mentioning that is because people had to go at me in the earlier ones for not apparently making that clear enough. So thank you very much for watching. Please also let me know in the comments which you would like to see next. I've only done 3 of the 8 classes. I've done Sniper, Defender, and now Guard, so there are the other 5. Let me know which you would like to see. I'm fairly sure that every character is somebody's favourite, so I would love to hear which yours is. Thank you very much for watching. Check out my other Arknights stuff. All of the stuff I linked in the description. And I will catch you later.